Welcome to the Manifestation and Money podcast, where we bridge the worlds of the taboo topic of money with the woo-woo world of manifestation. We're your hosts, Chris and Jenny Schultz.
We're not just about dollars and cents around here. We're all about lifestyle design. You can be working towards financial independence while still living a life you love today.
Get ready for insightful conversations with guests who have embraced the FIRE movement by achieving financial independence and retiring early, as well as entrepreneurs and individuals who defied the norm and have paved their own way to a life they love.
Together, we'll explore the powerful connection between mindset, financial freedom, and living a purposeful life. And of course, we'll be sharing our own journey to how we carved our path to a seven-figure net worth before hitting the big 4-0. Are you ready to ignite your financial future? Then let's dive right in.
Welcome to the Manifestation and Money podcast, where your journey to financial independence and the life you love begins now.
Imagine ditching city living and becoming a full-time RVer, getting to explore some of the greatest national parks while having a lower cost of living than your previous lifestyle. My guest on the show today knows this lifestyle as she is living it. Dr. Brenda Uekert is a sociologist, financial coach, author, speaker, and climate steward. She blends her two passions of financial freedom and the environment into the concept of eco-wealth. Welcome to the Manifestation and Money podcast, Brenda.
I'm so pleased to be here.
Can you please share with the listeners a little bit about who you are and what your story is?
Sure. In brief, I am a sociologist, a financial coach, a speaker, the author of Money Road Trip. I am also a full-time RVer, traveling the U.S. in my RV with my cats.
I love that so much. We have talked about Geoarbitrage as part of the journey of an option for somebody who wants to be financially independent and retire early as a really nice piece to the puzzle. So what do you love about your RV lifestyle?
Gosh, it's more like, what don't I love about it? For me, I lived in a house in Virginia, lovely, lovely house, but my career ended. I started to learn how to be a financial coach. And I realized the house was feeling like a prison to me. It's like things are falling apart. I looked at it. I saw work. I was unhappy. I was miserable. And it's like, how can I build a lifestyle? Geo-arbitrage is really about chasing after a lifestyle. And I love to travel. And so many times out here on the road, I feel like a kid running down the steps on Christmas morning. I'm driving, crossing a bend, and I see this beautiful lake or this mountain. And there's so many times I'm driving alone and I'm like, wow. And so the opportunity to really live a lifestyle that's healthier for me and be able to trade in that big value of a house and use that for part of my funding, but also be able to live. It really helps you prioritize your expenses. What's really important to me? That horseback ride on the beach or going out to eat at a place that I don't really care about or buying something that I don't need. So it does give you clarity, priorities, and for me, I discovered joy.
There's a lot there. Yeah, and to bring it back to that freedom of choice, you're mobile. So how do you decide? Do you map out kind of a plan of where you want to go? Do you make someplace home base for quite a while? Like, what does a typical, say, year look like for you?
Well, it's changed up a bit. I started in May 2020, the height of the pandemic, and I have a 32-foot motorhome. I tow a Jeep behind, and I love planning. More and more, I love the national parks, state parks, Corps of Engineer parks here in the States. But those things fill up really quickly. Sometimes you have got to be online at 7 a.m. or whatever that opening hour is to get a reservation 6 months in advance. Some places are 12 months in advance. So I am a scheduler and a planner, which means I've been able to stay in some incredible places. The smaller you are, and if you're solar, you have more flexibility, especially in the West. It is crowded out there. I do plan. I have tended to winter at South Padre Island in Texas. This last year, I bought into a co-op in Southern California, and a co-op is a really good way to approach sort of this geo-arbitrage stuff. I mean, I put down a deposit. When I leave this place, that deposit will be returned to me, and I pay $400 a month to keep my site parked here, plus electric. I volunteer. I get to be part of the community and contribute my skills, keep the expenses down. So I've sort of set up a base in Southern California to save money. And it's like hard to believe, but there are so many different ways of living out there. If you don't require a big house, and you don't need to be in some metropolitan place. And what allows me to do this is that I can work from anywhere. And that's so true with more and more remote work out there that we just need the internet.
That's so true. So are you finding as you're moving around, how are you finding connectivity?
Yeah, I research things in advance, so that is another reason why I plan. So I have two carriers, two different hotspots. So between those two main carriers, generally, I can get online. So sometimes I have to go to the library. Sometimes I'm going to a coffee shop to upload something. But for the most part, I've been able to get around any barriers. Internet connectivity is not always the best, but it's a trade-off. I have flexibility, so I can pile up and schedule things in advance when I have good internet. So when I have times where it's a bit of a struggle, it's okay because I've got things scheduled ahead. You just work with what you have, work around limitations. Really haven't had any huge snafus in all of this time.
That's fascinating because right now we are on Zoom and you are in your RV, correct?
Correct.
And we're
Yes.
having this conversation from two completely different countries. You're in the US, I'm in Canada, and it's working just fine.
So far, so good. Yes.
You're an outside the box thinking kind of girl. So you are doing this with how many cats?
I've got two cats now. Started with three. I've got two here.
Aw.
And I have a catio. So when I'm on the road, I have a shelter and I have a little hole in it and I have a tunnel so they can go in and out of the RV into the sheltered catio. And here I have a site and was a gazebo on it. So I just turned it into a cat gazebo. So they have a catwalk up around in the inside and a climbing post and all kinds of great stuff. That was my fear when I started out. I'm going to ruin these cats' lives. And no. They are spoiled rotten. If you've got pets, they adapt and they have fun.
They're world travelers now too, or at least country travelers now.
Well, I've had 4 different cats. They've all walked on leashes.
Oh, wow.
So it makes people smile. They see me and they do a double take and they realize I have a cat at the end of the leash. It works.
That's so cool. I have to ask you because you talked prior about having those dandelion moments in life. Can you explain on that a bit more?
I can. If you think about a dandelion, with all the seeds, and it's here one moment and you blow it, all those seeds get dispersed. But a dandelion moment are those moments in life where you stop and you realize this is like the best moment of my life. Everything is in place. I'm where I need to be. I'm with the people. It could be watching a sunset. It could be hanging out with friends. It's those moments that you want to put in a bottle and capture. Because, we're all about financial freedom, financial independence, but also building this life of joy. And sometimes we forget what it means to have that joy. And for me, a lot of it are those little moments. When you discover what really makes your heart sing, you chase after it with all of your might. For me, hiking in the woods, I mean, I love hiking. I love sunsets. I love kayaking. Those are all so many times dandelion moments that stay with me. They're my sign that this is what I need to be doing in my life. This is where I need to spend my time, creating more of those moments.
Yeah, that's beautiful. My heart sits in that place because I think it's so easy to get swept up in life and just do the day-to-day process because we're kind of creatures of habit. We just do what we're told, or not do what we told, but we just do what we do. And to really peel it back and be like, what are those moments that make me happy? What are those moments that bring me joy? How can I do more of that? And from an outsider looking in at your life and seeing you adapt to the RV lifestyle, I think that brings such a piece of adventure. Like you just seem like such an adventurous soul. So I can see how that has paired up so well for you.
It's getting back to simplicity. We complicate everything. And yeah, we go to work and we look at our bank accounts and we get so wrapped up into what the world means by success, especially in the US. I'm going to have more stuff. I'm going to have more money. I'm going to get a new job title. I'm going to get a promotion. And to me, I mean, I bought into that. I was highly successful by all of those external standards. And when that career ended, I realized that, you know what? That's how I define myself, by my work. So when the work kind of disappeared and I had to recreate myself and I headed out on the road, it was uncomfortable. I'm like, who am I now? If I'm not the researcher that works at blank, blank, blank doing this, who am I? Because we define ourselves by I'm the podcaster, I'm the writer, I'm the lawyer, I'm the doctor, I am something. And it's like, strip that away. What do you have? And so I'm going to hit the road in another month. I'll be gone for 5 months. And I'm already scheming what I'm going to do because I think I'm going to do a 1,000-mile challenge. 5 months, 200 miles hiking in a month. And I really want to write about success and how we get trapped into this idea of success that is very materialistic and oftentimes very empty.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome. I'll be over here cheering you on. And you're so right, those simple moments. I think 2 weeks ago, I went on a girls' trip to Las Vegas. So you're in the crazy hustle, not hustle bustle, but people are just spending dollars like there's no tomorrow there. It's just mind blowing how much money is getting thrown around. And then I come back this past week and I'm at home digging in my garden, planting with my daughter, and we're collecting worms as I'm digging up plants. And my heart was so happy being at home, digging up those worms in my garden. And it just really made me reflect. Sure, it's okay to go out and do the things from time to time, but the things that make you the happiest are oftentimes the simplest.
Absolutely. And that's the sign that tells you I need to be in that garden a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every day if I had it my way. It's rainy here today, but I'll still probably poke out there at some point. Let's talk about, so you've made this pivot, you're on the road, and you're also a financial coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would like you to talk about the kind of the program that you run, because I think it has such a cool verbiage that plays into the lifestyle you're leading.
My program is based on my book, Money Road Trip. It's also an online course. It is about making finances fun. Because when I look at the financial world, it's filled with jargon and rules and things that you have to do. And it feels like a lot of the language is also very, it's like you're a white man working in technology with a wife. It's not, the language isn't diverse. So I wanted to make a book and a course that is really inclusive of the various types of people that are pursuing financial freedom and to make it simple. So I love traveling, obviously. I love the road trip. So that's partly why it became Money Road Trip. I talk about lighten your load. You can get there faster if you're not carrying all this baggage with you. Crossing Investment Bridge, learning how to invest is really the basics, but it also includes a lot of inspirational stories, graphics, fun things. It's designed as a workbook for people to participate in. I also really am a strong advocate of putting your money where your values are. So one of the things I talk about is eco wealth. For me, taking care of the planet, this is critical. We're living in an era where we have to do something or the next generation is doomed. So it's about investing your money, putting your money into things that are environmentally sound. So I try very hard personally and with the business to try not to support fossil fuels and look at clean alternatives. There's a lot of things going on that do have to do with my appreciation of the planet on which we live and widening the audience for financial freedom.
Lovely. And I think, I don't know, for me, I always like learning when it feels like an engaging learning experience, when it feels fun and playful. I was never one to sit back and read a textbook and just be able to memorize what was on its pages. So this sounds like a really engaging learning experience. You have the workbook and you have the stories to pull you along to make you absorb the information.
Yeah, that is the intent. I feel like there's a lot of the financial experts and gurus will make you think that the only way you're going to be successful is if you turn your money over to them, because they're smart enough to beat the market. They're smart enough to do this. And that's, like, to me, one of the biggest mistakes you can make. You have to learn how to manage your own money, and you can grow your wealth just as well, maybe better, than if you paid somebody else to try to do it. You're invested in your future. You're invested in your money. It's empowering. And so so I think the industry itself has an incentive for trying to get you to think that it's more complicated than it actually is. It is not complicated.
Yeah. And once people realize that and realize that they have a say in what they're doing with their money, they have a say with how they're making their money, where they're putting their money, like you said, empowering. That's the word that comes to mind for sure.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So you have your book on Amazon. I will be sure to tag that in the show notes for people to check out. And what is one piece of advice that you have for people who are trying to create a life they love?
Everything in terms of the financial world can be summed up in 3 words: grow the gap. Grow the gap between your income and expenses. Then just prioritize. Prioritize your joy.
Wow. Simple.
It is.
Yeah, that is like a very simple, sound piece of advice there. I actually got goosebumps when you said that. That's powerful. I would love it for you to share where more of the listeners can reach out and find more of you.
My link tree is probably the best place to go to. It's a Linktree / Dr. Brenda U. That will connect you to my varying pieces of my world, because I don't just focus on finances. I have something called Nature Listening Points, where I record 60 seconds of just pure nature. I bring that to you once a week in my newsletter. The Linktree kind of captures a broad spectrum with, my life.
Definitely. I will link to that. And I actually got lost on your Linktree yesterday. Not lost, in a good way. You even have like a little mini documentary on there on your life. So I recommend that listeners, I'll post it in the show notes so people can go check that out. And you have freebie on there too for them, right?
There is a money personality quiz, because so much of the tools that we use and our journey depends on our money personality. So I have 4 different personalities: the Voyager, the Wanderer, the Scout, and the Globetrotter. So once you connect your habits with your money personality, it gives you a better sense of how to budget and how to go about harnessing your mindset, creating that mindset that will help you move forward.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the show today, Brenda.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Hey, wait, before you go, do you want to increase your income by $1,000 a month? If so, check out our free side hustle guide at www.4leaflifestyle.com/money-ideas. I'll pop it in the show notes for easy access.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Manifestation and Money podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation and want to continue your journey to financial empowerment and creating a life you love, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review.
Come follow us on Instagram at Manifestation and Money Podcast or at 4Leaf Lifestyle for more inspiration and behind the scenes content. Remember, your life is yours to live. Your financial freedom journey is as unique as you are. So hop in the driver's seat. It's time to create the life of your dreams.